So welcome everybody to my YouTube channel. This talk is about deepening your evidence. So I would like to welcome you all first to joining me on this. And welcome to my channel. If you haven't subscribed, feel free to subscribe and press the like button if you're going to enjoy this, this video. We all have to deal with the evidence that we receive in our circles and home circles. When we're working with the spirit world, we receive a certain amount of evidence, and a lot of us are trying to work out, what does it mean what the spirit world are saying? What does it mean, and how should we interpretate the evidence that's coming through from the spirit world? And I hear this with a lot of students, that they have their own ways of working things out. And they say, well, if I see this picture, then this picture must mean this, this, and this. But when we do it like that, sometimes when we look at a picture just as evidence, there can be a lot more in that picture than you realize. For, let's say you're seeing, I'm just going to make a picture up, and if you're just joining me, nice, lovely to join me. But if you're having evidence and you see a picture of a man standing on a farm, and you see that picture and you're like, okay, how do I interpretate this? You could jump to conclusions to say this man is working on the farm. You could jump to conclusions. You could say that man lived on a farm. But when you go into the picture, you could probably deepen it more by feeling, what exactly did he do? Look at what he's showing you. He may be showing you him working with his hands on the farm. He may be showing you in this picture that there's a lot more. So you can go into the picture. And that's trust. And it would probably take you more than, because I see a lot of students throwing out evidence that, like, like I've got this and I've got that, and I've got a man and he lived on a farm and all this sort of thing. But they're missing the depth of the evidence. And if you can breathe, that's my like, don't forget to breathe when you're getting your contact, and just go, when you get a picture coming in, stay 2 to 3 seconds with it. Just feel it and see what it brings, because it would open up to more. And the more that you trust in that picture, the more that picture will open up to more. So you may actually say, I've got a gentleman here and I feel that he lived on a farm. What he's showing me is this is how the farm actually looked like. And that would be a wonderful bit of evidence that you could give right there. Now, sometimes the spirit will give you objects, and sometimes they will give you different things that you can use. Maybe you're seeing someone's hobby, so you might be seeing them fishing, and you might say, oh, they must have been fishing. But when you feel into that picture and you move into it, and you may suddenly feel that the person they're coming through actually went fishing with them, or they actually have been given all their fishing tackle from their dad, or from the person that you're seeing. So deepening the evidence is staying 3 seconds longer with a picture, and really just going into it with your clairsentience and feelings. So the feelings of your soul are going into that and feeling what else is to be given, what else can you get out of it. So also the same thing can be done with your feelings. When you think about your feelings with mediumship, you can get information coming in, evidence coming in, and it can be like the essence of the communicator coming in. So you might say, I feel a father here, and I feel he's a very strong man, and I feel that I feel with this father, he was someone that really stood up for what he believed in. That's very good evidence, but you need to feel in and say, oh, what did he say? He said in his feelings, stood up for what he believed in. How did he stand up for it? To stay 3 seconds with that would deepen it, where you would feel, oh, he didn't just stand up for his belief. There was a moment in his life where he actually did that, where he actually went up and stood up for the rights of people. And he may have done that in his own way. He may have gone to war, or he may have gone. It can lead on to so many different things. How that person would have stood up for who they are. So it's what I call the 3-second rule. If you can stay 3 seconds with a picture longer, or 3 seconds with that clear sentence longer than what you would normally, you'll find it will open up and develop into more information. Now, if you're liking this video, give it a like. And if you're enjoying the channel, don't forget to subscribe, and you won't miss anything that I'm going to be giving soon. The same can happen with hearing. How many times in life do you listen to people and you think you know what they've said, but you're not quite sure? Or you said, I think they said this. And when you ask them, you probably thought, well, I didn't hear that right. So it has to do, when you're dealing with hearing and mediumship, you need to have that perfect attention with the spirit world. So when you have that perfect attention with the spirit world, and you stay 3 seconds with it, and you listen carefully, and I like to say, listen compassionately with attention to the spirit world, and see what develops from it, and what will actually happen for it. If you've got any questions, please feel free to ask me in the chat. And welcome to those that are just joining me. So it's about building up that trust with the evidence. But look at it this way. We're learning mediumship, and whatever level you're at, you'll find that you'll be at different levels, and you'll be in different levels at how you deepen your evidence and how you actually find the way to deepen it. But if we were to actually teleport you now into China and tell you to speak Chinese, you'd need to learn a different language. And it would take you, how long do you think it would take you to learn Chinese? It would probably take you about, to be, maybe a month, or maybe it will take you 2 months, like 24 hours a day. That's a lot of commitment to learn Chinese. So if you actually immersed in it, you would learn it very, very quickly. But with mediumship, we do it the hour at a group or a circle, or an hour here. You've got to add all these hours up. How long would it take you to really understand really deeply what the evidence means? So you may have something like a picture of a watch, and you may feel, oh, Father had a watch, and I feel that Father's left this watch behind. But when you feel into that, and you actually can feel that you can hold the watch in your hands, and you stay a couple of seconds longer, you may actually feel, and this watch has been left behind to the person who has come for this reading, or this has been left behind for the person who's in the demonstration. So in this way, you see, you're learning to understand what spirit is doing. And in that, if you were to go into that and you were going to deepen it even more, you may actually go into what color the watch is. And you may actually, when you feel into it, you may feel, oh, it feels like a metal watch, or it feels like a leather watch. And in that way, you get more and more. It's deepening the evidence more. You make it, oh, it had a white face, and I feel that Father left it behind. And it's showing me the time of 2 o'clock. That may be the time of passing. So that's how you can deepen the evidence just with one object, a watch. Now, I've had in readings a lot of people coming through with different objects, different things, jewelry, all that sort of thing. But it's like, when you feel into the object, it's not just an object. Oh, she had a pearl necklace, or she had earrings, or she had this, or she had jewelry. But when you stay with it, how did it feel? I feel that she gave this to you, and I feel that it was a gift from her husband. All these things deepen the evidence even more. And it can start off with one thing. I had a lovely student today, and we got some lovely evidence coming in. We had a grandmother, and she said that she took care of me as a child. Now, just that little bit, you could feel into that, and it'd be like, so she must have been, I feel that she was a second mother to you. And then a picture may arise, and you'll be like, a picture arises from that. But when you stick with the evidence more than 3 seconds, another bit of evidence arrives. And you have to be within your soul all the time, like asking the spirit world from out your soul, oh, tell me more about that. I'd really love to know more. And that joy and passion will really make you make you be available to get more evidence from the spirit world. So yes, feel free to write me any questions if you've got any questions you'd like to ask me. And if you're enjoying the video so far, don't forget to like. It's lovely to have you here and have you here watching. Trust is another bit to do with it, because we may have got a certain bit of evidence a lot of the time. So let's say we've got a father, he's wearing a suit and he worked in business, right? So you may always get, oh, I see a man in a suit, so he must have worked in business. Well, that's what happens, is our mind is interpreting that a man in a suit might be working in business. But really, it could mean that a man in a suit is not always working a business. It could be a man that wore a suit on special occasions. It could have been a man that the suit meant when you stay with the suit, you find that he was someone that would wear that on Sundays. It may be a man that was very flamboyant and had like 20 different suits, but you'd have to stay with it and feel it for those 3 seconds. What does it mean? Is it to do with the job? Is it to do with the way the man was? Is it the way he liked to look? And when you feel the fabric, and this is for people that are clairsentient, you may be able to even feel the fabric of that suit and say, I know it was a good quality suit, and it feels like it was an Italian suit. That is deepening the evidence, because you've stayed 3 seconds longer with it than what you normally would. So if you can see how we can build up the contact more and more just by trusting, staying 3 minutes and taking a breath. Don't forget to breathe. So I'd like you guys to try this in your circles, because if you've got a good circle where you can practice this, you can say, I want to go that little bit further. I'd like to stretch myself just that little bit more. If you're always getting your contact coming in with the same sort of evidence all the time, so you may find that there are so many fathers that have the same sort of evidence or the same sort of information, and there may be mothers that have the same sort of information. They bake in the kitchen and all that sort of thing. But what about if mother's showing you baking in the kitchen? What is she baking? Maybe she can tell you the recipe. Maybe she can show you that she was using short crust pastry. She can show you it was an apple pie. She used special brown sugar within the recipe, and she might be able to tell you exactly what's in it. And she could tell you that because if she was bringing through that apple pie or whatever she was baking, it could be a Victoria sponge. It could be, it could be one of those Swiss rolls that you see someone baking in the kitchen. But if you see that, it's staying with it. It's not just baking in the kitchen. What did they bake? What did they make? And if they are baking, can it not be true that this would be in the memory of the person that's receiving the information? So you could say, you baked with her. She taught you how to bake. So in that way, deepening the evidence is staying again more 3 seconds with it and just letting it tell its story. So I hope you're all enjoying this so far. Feel free to ask me any questions you like about deepening the evidence. And if you've got any questions you'd like to ask me about mediumship, I don't mind answering them, because that's what this channel's about. It's about helping you with your mediumship development, but also helping you to get better at the mediumship within your circles and all of that. So so when you really look at it, it's a very fascinating subject. When you look at the mediumship and how the communication takes part, it's watching out for when the mind comes in, because the mind can take us away from the evidence. So we may say, I see this picture, and then we go, so it must mean, let's say I see a watch. Oh, it must mean that she wants to give you a message about time. So our mind is making something out of it. So watch out for whether your mind says this must mean, because then you're moving away from the spirit contact and you're moving away from the initial pure evidence that's coming in. So if you get any information from the spirit world, which is evidential, and you want to deepen it, stay 3 seconds with it. Don't let the mind jump to conclusions. because it can happen that way. And it happened the other day with another student of mine that was jumping to conclusions about thinking, oh, I'm seeing these cigarettes, so that person must have smoked, but actually the cigarettes was from somebody else. So in that way, you can do that. But yeah, just stay 3 seconds longer with the evidence. Practice with the feelings and the hearing. And when if you're doing the hearing, just really get into that compassionate listening. And if you get into that compassionate listen, I'm sure it will open up for you. So I want to thank you all for being here. And thank you for that. If you've enjoyed the video, give me a like. And if you love the channel, please give it a subscribe to the channel. And I look forward to seeing you join me again soon. Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.